go there, Attorney General? Or do you want to go there? Are you serious? Talking about anti-Semitism to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust? Really?
The committee will be in order.
Talk to Jared Wise about anti-Semitism.
The ranking member.
Woo-hoo-hoo-wee. The fireworks fly today. This hearing that Attorney General Pam Bondy conducted in front of Congress today was over 4 or 5 hours long. I've got the best highlights for you, and I might even do a part 2 because there's so many, but I think I've got the best. Also, you got to stick around because you're not going to believe which, well, you might believe. Each member of Congress had to be woken up by a staffer caught on camera because they fell asleep.
Good morning, Texas.
Macadamia.oh, it's so good. I want to start with
I was live earlier and then somebody just cut off, so I'm back.
Democrat North Carolina representative for ignoring, which all of them did.
It's still stuck on the bottom of the video. That's crazy.
Of Irina
They took it off.
Zarutska on that subway from an individual who was let out of jail not once, not 5 times, not 10 times, over 18 times.
Hopefully we'll die in prison. I have a couple about Irina Zarutska.
I have a couple
who
of
died
other
on a
questions.
subway.
Right, and I
You don't talk about that.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues. But we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this endeavor is. So, of course, we're moving back to you.
It's a real fire one. We started over for you guys.
As we
Didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about Epstein, not once when he was. And also, I want the record to reflect that, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
I just want to be clear. Do you want to go there, Attorney General? Or do you want to go there? Are you serious?
Amazing.
Anti-Semitism to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust? Really?
The committee will be in order.
Talk to Jared Wise about anti-Semitism.
The ranking member.
Woo-hoo-hoo-wee. The fireworks fly today. This hearing that Attorney General Pam Bondy conducted in front of Congress today was over 4 or 5 hours long. I've got the best highlights for you, and I might even do a part 2 because there's so many, but I think I've got the best. Also, you got to stick around because you're not going to believe which, well, you might believe. Each member of Congress had to be woken up by a staffer caught on camera because they fell asleep. Holy macadamia.oh, it's so good. I want to start with this. Attorney General Bondy, mic-dropping Democrat North Carolina representative for ignoring, which all of them did, the tragic slashing of Irina Zarutska on that subway from an individual who was let out of jail not once, not 5 times, not 10 times, over 18 times.
Hopefully we'll die in prison.
I have a couple
about Irina Zarutska.
I have a couple
who
of
died
other
on a
questions.
subway.
Right, and
You don't talk about that.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues. But we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this endeavor is. So, of course, we're moving back to you. It is all about you. So, as we heard, she took the fifth in response to every single question in that committee hearing.
It's definitely a wild testimony.
And her
You can
lawyer
hear it. Very
dangled
loud.
at the offer of clemency. Should Donald Trump pardon or commute her sentence? Should she be released from prison? Yes or no? You said you hope she dies there, so I'm hoping the answer is no.
I already answered that question.
Good. I'm very glad. I really like this bipartisan agreement about
Well, when
what
it
should
agrees
happen.
with you, but you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You don't want to talk
I
about
talk about her
murdered
all
by
the
a violent
time,
crime.
but I am not here to
Jurisdiction.
testify before Congress. You are. That is your job today.
You're
That's what you're getting
obsessed with attacking.
So I want you to know that your own DOJ employee, he's recently been demoted and had some other problems, advises on pardons. Do you think he will be advising Mr. Trump on any kind of clemency or pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
I'm not going to speculate, and you couldn't even identify properly. That's why you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You couldn't properly identify her relative.
I absolutely
It's embarrassing.
have been, and her family.
See, this is what I love about Pam Bondy is she's pushing back. This is exactly what the woke media apparatus, all the corporate press, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, all of them should be doing. They invite these hypocrites on their programs to spew lies, to spew the most egregious. It's not. Thank God there's independent media of the people, for the people, by the people, like me, Nick Shirley, and so many others to kind of mitigate this somewhat. But the fact that Elon bought Twitter and turned it into X, which is literally the last bastion of free speech on the internet. But you see, they go on these woke media programs and they just say whatever they want to say. They just say all these talking points that are handed down to them, probably from Soros, Obama, Holly Weirdo cult, I don't know who, Alex Soros. And there's never any pushback. None of the reporters. Trump was right about this during the campaign. You give Biden softball ice cream question. What kind of ice cream you got? And when they drill Trump, they go to the nth degree to try to find any shred of something to make him look bad. This is what I love about this, and it gets even better. It's a clip that I think deserves so much recognition because it's Jamie Raskin, who has plugs in his hair, and he just looks like the decayed, corrosive, absolute degradation that the Democrats have become. Here's Bondy calling him a washed-up loser. Check this out.
You showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the way I
ridiculous.
asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
the time belongs.
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Reclaiming my
interesting.
time.
You can
When
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they
Reclaiming my time,
indicted,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they
Stop the
indicted
clock.
him
Mr.
twice.
Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and
Did
stop
he
the clock and
indict-
restore his
Oh,
time.
okay. Here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she
Right.
gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein?
They don't like the answer,
Reclaiming
Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming
So he asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute question.
Restore 45
And
seconds,
I
Mr.
am
Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaiming.
Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me
Yeah, I
anything.
did tell you because we
Washed
saw
up.
what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer. You're not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Jordan kind of called it. They never, ever want to let them answer the way they want to answer. They just want them to answer the way that aligns with their stupid talking points, like this grotesque abomination from my beautiful state, California, Ted Lieu, who's such a garbage. This guy has the guts of a yellow belly, despicable snake. He's got cold blood running through his veins. He doesn't give a rat's ass about anyone, and Pam Bondy destroys him. Watch.
Age girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, where does that everywhere I go? I live in Illinois. I live in Rockford.
This is so ridiculous.
From Chicago.
And that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those
I
files
reclaim my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no
President
evidence.
Trump
asked
released the
to
files.
Stop
sign
the clock.
the legislation. This is
Time
Reclaiming
time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this
The
hearing
time of the
concludes.
gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not
can
ask a
respond.
question,
He
but
doesn't
you're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did not ask
the
a question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk
I
about
did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
You
state.
can't just
Madam
ask
Attorney
me
General,
something. I did not ask a question.
Committee will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time. I think our next witness will be more than happy to let the Attorney General.
Madam Attorney General, would you like to?
Gentleman from Alabama is recognized for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you have a few minutes to respond.
Thank you, Congressman. This is what Congressman Liu didn't want to talk about. He didn't want to talk about all the crime that is happening in his state. California refuses to honor detainees because of its dangerous sanctuary city policies. The refusal means California has released 4,561 criminal illegal aliens onto its street. The crimes of these aliens include 31 homicides, 661 assaults, 574 burglaries, 184 robberies, 1,489 dangerous drug offenses, 379 weapons offenses, and 234 sexual predator offenses. That's why they are deflecting. That's why they're trying to talk about the Epstein files. That's currently happening in his home state.
If there was just a little bit of fact checking. I mean,
How you doing,
think of
Charles?
how many lives we could save.
Mona Lisa, good morning, good morning.
The truth shall set you free. Okay, before I get to the moment that was caught on camera of a congressman falling asleep and one of his staffers had to go get him, I have the full footage. I have to tell you about this. Same thing applies.
Beautiful
to
bill,
Medicare.
yeah.
There has been so much confusion about Medicare, which is why I have partnered with Chapter, who used.
Hey, babe.
In 2025, we saw the lowest murder rate in 125 years.
I think that's a really good reason why we need term limits, don't you? Here's the moment that Pam Bondy called out Ratty Rat Raskin about his stock and the rest of his colleagues' unbelievable stock picks. Watch.
And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now.
If you don't know anything about that, I mean, it has been exorbitantly documented that people like, Pelosi and Presley and Crockett and all of these, especially mentally Ilhan Omar.
Peace, no problem. Good morning, good morning.
Has jumped 40, 50, 100
Good morning,
million with their
everybody.
salaries
That's
in
just.
the government, public sector. It makes absolutely no sense at all. Speaking of Raskin unravels here as Bondy calls him out for not knowing about Chase Mulligan, who is a minor offender, I can't say the actual word, in his district. They spend all their time going after Trump when they have so many problems in their own backyard. And then come on back. I can't wait to share with you Bondy and Thomas Massey going at it. But watch this.
You even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with you don't. Do
I'm
you?
going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules here.
Obsessed with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
With
The rules.
obsessed with Donald Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like my time restored. I'd like my time restored.
In your district. In your district, and
stop
you
the
don't
clock.
even know about it, about keeping children
belongs
safe
to
from
the gentleman.
online predators.
And then here's the moment where Pam Bondy calls out Representative Massey that he has Trump derangement syndrome. I just love this.
Respond, and then the gentleman can move to the next question.
my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question.
You can give
Within
me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of
He's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
and
Okay.
we invited
what?
you in.
Gentlemen.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician. You need to
I
get
want
on
you to
these
watch the
matters.
video.
Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information.
I have to agree. I think Massey does have Trump derangement syndrome. He has been no on everything regarding the America First agenda. He didn't win the election. I don't even know if he won his own election. Trump won in a mandate. He won every single swing state. He won the popular vote, probably by a lot, especially if Kamala didn't cheat. She only won, by the way, Kamala didn't win a single state that required voter ID. That should tell you everything. And Massey's just been a no all the way around. Let me know, by the way, before we leave, what are your thoughts on Thomas Massey? Are you like him, not like him? Let me know in the comments down below. I might do another video if you want me to. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more clips from this hearing. Like I said, it's 5, 6, 7 hours long. There's even some happening right now live that are a little bit more boring than others. I think I covered the best of the best. But let me know what your thoughts are on Bondy. Do you want to see more clips? I can't wait to hear from you. Tap that thumbs up. Millions of files released. You know how you and I have been deeply frustrated by the lack of arrests, the lack of accountability, that all the GOP and the DOJ and Pam Bondy and the rest of them have been doing has been issuing harsh letters, etc., etc. You guys aren't going to believe this. I think this is the most impactful, unbelievable discovery I've made thus far in the entire Epstein files release. Get a load of this. We have unequivocal evidence in the Epstein files that the FBI, this is on record, going on record, protecting former U.S. presidents, Secretary of State, and high-profile celebrities. I think a lot of us kind of had this, feeling, and I've been mentioning this. I thought the Bongino Patel interview where they said, everything's fine, nothing happened. He unalived himself. There's nothing to see here, was very suspect. We have internal FBI discussions allegedly showing clear and specific guidance to redact images tied to former U.S. presidents. This is huge, y'all. A Secretary of State and major celebrities, not to protect victims, but to protect offenders. Millions of files released, powerful faces redacted. Check this out. That highlighted area right there is an email from the New York FBI to another intelligence unit within the intelligence community. A lot of redacted names here and there, but essentially here is the isolated email right here. Good morning, sir. BLUF IMD RIDS requests guidance redacting photographs. Who is protected under this Transparency Act task? Why would anybody be protected? That's the whole goal and point of the Transparency task. As mentioned before, we need guidance to redact 1B items. IMD RIDS is requesting clear and consistent guidance to process 1B items. There are several boxes that need to be processed, and the sooner they have clear and consistent guidance, the sooner they will start processing those. 1B items contain photographs of multiple individuals to include the subjects of this investigation, Epstein and Maxwell. Here's where it gets unreal. Need clear and specific guidance to redact those photographs. Some photographs depict victims, unknown, unidentified females and males, former U.S. presidents, Secretary of State, and other well-known celebrities. The software does not have facial recognition to assist with the identification of some public officials, well-known or not well-known celebrities. Please advise how you would like the team to move forward. Again, you can see at the very top of your screen all these redacted names, but you can see IMD FBI, CID FBI, NY FBI. This is all internal emails and memos essentially saying we need to protect these guys, protect the worst of society. Do you guys remember this specific undercover video that was discovered about Pam Bondy? Why?
Epstein files are going to get released? We hope soon. It's been okay. So no, you know what it is? It's a thousand videos. Yeah, and it's all like little kids. So they have to go through every one.
So that was James O'Keefe going undercover and talking to Pam Bondy. That video was that was very long ago, at the earlier part of the year. And Pam Bondy specifically stated, I don't know if you heard or not, there's tens of thousands of videos with minors, right? And we have to go through them. So where are those? Why did it take this long? What's going on? Why all you seem to do is write very important letters to these individuals, but we never see accountability? Why would you protect? The Constitution does not say protect serial predators. The Constitution says protect the victims, the people who are victims of these crimes. They are not afforded any protection. I don't care how big a celebrity, how important,
Happy Thursday.
a position they hold.
Ultra MAGA.
This is nonsense. Well, check this out too. This is absolutely insane. The DOJ quietly posted an 86-page Epstein co-conspirator file, then deleted it. It names the same inner circle that's been protected for over a decade. Virginia Guthrie's testimony, remember that was the woman who met with Savannah Guthrie in 2019 and blew the whole lid on this, and then somehow, against her own admission that she was not depressed, she wasn't somebody who had those tendencies, somehow became unalived. Her testimony's in there, so her names like Maxwell, Brunel, Marchenkova, Kellen, Ross, Groff. It turns out the feds did investigate the network. They just didn't do anything about it. So, I mean, this is really, really important. This file contains interview summaries with alleged victims and individuals described as, quote, subjects of the investigation. Again, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jean-Luc Brunel, Nadia Marcinkova, Sarah Kellen, Adriana Ross, Leslie Groff. The document references allegations involving Epstein, Maxwell, Harvey Weinstein, Jean-Luc Brunel, Leon Black, Jess Staley, Prince Andrew, Glenn Dubin. It also includes an interview with counsel for Lex Wexner. According to two Wexner attorneys, Epstein was given sweeping control over Wexner's finances in the 1990s with little oversight. Epstein allegedly sold himself Wexner's New York apartment and private jet at steeply discounted prices. In 2007, Wexner concluded that Epstein had misappropriated several $100 million. Epstein agreed to repay $100 million in 2008, after which Wexner severed all ties. The document dedicates an entire section to an interview with Virginia Guthrie, who made many of the trafficking allegations involving Epstein and Maxwell, and claims
watch the best in there. Yep.
was trafficked to powerful men.
Welcome to VidIQ.
Notably, the report states, quote, it bears noting that contrary to some
extra mile to
reports,
succeed on YouTube.
these searches did not reveal any cameras in any of the bedrooms or massage rooms. A separate document includes a diagram that you see on your screen mapping Epstein's inner circle. The materials feature photographs and names of prominent individuals. Again, Maxwell, Darren Indike, who is Epstein's attorney, Richard Kahn is an accountant, Harry Beller is a financial advisor, Leslie Groff is longtime assistant, and then Jean-Luc Brunel, who unalived himself apparently in a French jail while facing serious charges. 5 individuals identified as Epstein's employees had their names and faces.
Amazing, isn't it?
Taken together, the 86-page report and accompanying chart indicate that federal investigators were examining a broader network of potential co-conspirators, particularly Epstein's female employees who were alleged to have helped recruit underage females. These same women were widely reported as potential co-conspirators in 2019 following Epstein's arrest. Sarah Kellen, Leslie Groff, Adriana Ross, and Nadia Marcinkova were granted immunity in Epstein's controversial 2008 plea deal. In short, the potential co-conspirators identified in the DOJ's latest release of Epstein files appear to be the same individuals who've been publicly linked to Epstein's network since his original 2007 case. So what happened? Why weren't these people charged? Why did the DOJ and these these intelligence communities, why did they let all of this go? But wait, it gets even worse. This is Epstein's driver. These are some photographs that came out. You can see that's Secretary of State John Kerry. There is Bill Clinton with Epstein's driver right there. Prince Andrew with Epstein's driver. And Chris Tucker right there. This is absolutely, just bewildering. The DOJ knew that Epstein was going to die. According to this official DOJ press release about his death is dated August 9th. But Epstein wasn't, quote unquote, found dead until August 10th. So what's going on right here? How can you release? Look at this. This is insane. So for me, immediate release, Friday, August 9th. Is that just an error? This is from the United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York. They issued a statement saying earlier this morning, the Manhattan Correctional Center confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein, who faced charges brought by this office, had been unresponsive in his cell. You guys, this is Friday, August 9th. This almost vindicates all the conspiracy theorists. What is going on here? And then look at this document right here, you guys. Why in the world was the Bureau of Prisons shredding documents after Epstein's death? A worker at the Manhattan jail where Epstein died said staff were, quote, shredding everything, end quote. Bags of paper were tossed straight into the dumpster. If that doesn't raise questions,
Amazing.
I don't know what will, y'all. You can see right here, this is dated August 19th. I work at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. I was working the rear gate when the gate pass inmate, named, redacted name, brought back to the gate bays of shredded papers to throw out into the dumpster
crazy,
on
y'all.
Thursday and one bag on Friday. He stated that members of the BOP, probably the Bureau of Prisons, after action team that were investigating what happened with the Epstein unalivement, I can't say the S word, were shredding boxes of paperwork. They were shredding everything. Can we take a look at the dumpster ASAP to see if the paper is in there? Possibly they didn't dump it yet. From the United States Southern District of New York. And if you think I'm done, you got another thing coming. Epstein's body, check out this document right here, was actually a wrapped up bundle of sheets and boxes. I have done 2, 3, 4 videos examining the entire tranche of dropped files versus the evidence versus all the questions versus the conspiracy theorists. I have done a bunch of videos saying that I think this guy is still alive, maybe even living in Tel Aviv under an alias with disguises, playing video games, God knows what. Read this document right here. In order to, quote, thwart the media, end quote, 3 officers created a fake Epstein body made of bed sheets and cardboard that was taken to the hospital for the media to follow after they left. Epstein's actual body was removed from the jail in a black SUV. Why in the world would they do that? And as if the DOJ and the FBI didn't look bad enough, how many of you guys remember this guy? If you're as old as I am, David Copperfield was the David Blaine of his era.
I'll check it out.
This guy was larger than life himself. Well, check this out. Apparently, David Copperfield is in the Epstein files. And apparently in August of 2007, they opened an investigation. This is a document I found on Copperfield in relationship to his RAPE of a young female. The investigation showed that Copperfield trained his employees to identify young females. Oh, God, all my heroes are complete scum. I looked up to this guy when I was a kid. But look at the bottom paragraph. Our case was eventually closed because our USAO was weak and intimidated by the financial resources of Copperfield. So you see where I'm getting at with all of this, y'all? They were intimidated by the finance. I know the guy has money, but you're the United States government. You're the FBI. You're the Department of Justice. It is your absolute duty to go after these people and hold them accountable. It turns out, if I'm kind of connecting all these dots, remember pattern recognition, it turns out that our Department of Justice, our FBI, remember, I said this a long time ago. Who knows? Maybe you can't. Maybe I'm being too nice by saying this. Maybe you can't blame them. I said that this is one of those power trips. This is one of those moments. This is one of those cases where The power is so monstrous and so overwhelming, so influential. It's too big to fail almost. I know that sounds crazy to say that, but we've seen it before, right? That even Bongino, even Patel, even Bondi were afraid to touch it and afraid to expose them. Maybe they went after their families. I don't know. I'm seeing connections between this Savannah Guthrie mother's case, Nancy. She was the one who actually blew the lid by interviewing Virginia Guthrie back in 2019. So I don't know. This to me makes a lot of sense because we haven't seen any accountability, any investigations from this, any real arrests that we want to see of high-profile individuals. I don't think the Clintons nothing's going to happen to the Clintons. I don't think anything's going to happen to Obama, sadly. And I feel like these documents just confirm that the deep state will forever be the deep state. And maybe even there's no way of touching these guys. Maybe this is the only group of people who can truly be deemed and identified as the untouchables. I hope to God I'm wrong. But this evidence, these files, it's very deflating to say the least. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear from you. If you're kind of coming into this and you're like, what in the world is going on? Check out this playlist right here. I have a huge playlist right here that will cover everything for you. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. Go click that right now. But you can also tap my face there to follow and subscribe. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.
Sudden things changed drastically and nobody cared about equal time anymore. You remember this became, and we're live. I hope you had a great weekend, everyone. Hope you watched the Super Bowl. Hope you watched the halftime report. If you did, over on Turning Point, you'd be with like many, many millions more people. We're going to talk about those explosive ratings over on Turning Point and just the incredible turnout. 25 million plus. They're saying it's like the biggest event ever in YouTube, or at least number one or two. They're trying to finalize that right now. Anyway, it's great to have you here on such a busy day with so much going on. If you have not subscribed to the show, please make sure that you do that. Subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. It's really important for the algorithm as well. As we begin here, the full edition of the Trish Regan Show live. The View is in serious trouble. I know I keep saying that, but this time, I'm telling you, it's not just a big, broad investigation into ABC overall. It is an investigation specifically into one show helmed by one Whoopi Goldberg, and that would be The View. And they don't have Bob Iger around to protect him anymore, okay? The CEO of Disney. No, he's going bye-bye. He's being, replaced by a guy named DeMauro who came from the parks business, who cares about the bottom line and doesn't really care about everything that they care about over on The View, which is just, stirring up what. And now they got a problem because Brendan Carr over at the FCC, he's already come out with warning after warning after warning. They've ignored those warnings. And consequently, they're now looking as though they're in violation of what's called the Equal Time Act, something that was put in place years ago when they started regulating the television business. Broadcast, by the way, I want to point out, is regulated. We're not regulated over here. No, I get to do whatever I want, say what I want, whatever I want. And they're not regulated in cable, but broadcast television.
Hold on, I'll play Trish later time. Let's see.
Is a member of which produces, of course, The View. They are regulated. It's also the theory.
All right, Patriots. Now, today, Pam Bondy went and testified before the Oversight Committee. And I got to tell you, it was nothing but a clown show. And Pam Bondy, she stepped up to the plate and she defended herself, but she also made one critical error, I believe. And I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to go through these clips, but you're also going to see clips from Putin. You're going to see a clip from President Trump. Because one thing that's being exposed is that this Epstein cult, this cabal, is what was once called a QAnon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Let's grow together, everybody. Stay subscribed to me. Let's grow together.
Other governments are ran by a sick cabal that has these types of rituals that involve little people and eating of unique types of meats that don't come from the typical cows or pigs, but of the
Right, nasty,
humankind.
nasty.
And the reason why I'm wording it that way, I'm pretty sure you know on platforms what they try to do if things are spoken in a way that's not conducive. So stick with me on this, because this thing is darker than anything we may have imagined. It comes to find out that Epstein was not only a member of the Trilateral Commission, but this man was involved in the whole clone creation and baby, where DNA was taken and create babies in a box. And it may seem like a horrible sci-fi movie, but it's not, y'all. This is real. So what we're going to do, though, in this video, we're going to keep it specific. You're going to hear as the Democrats try to do their clickbait, and they act like they're so outraged about Epstein, and even the rat, Thomas Massey, who was by far one of the worst to attack Pam Bondy today in such a despicable manner. And this is all he's got. Because remember, it was all about Trump at first. But then we find out Trump was the first person of prominence in 2006 to reach out and talk to the police about Epstein. Trump was the first person of prominence to kick this man to the curb, ban him from Mar-a-Lago. And that enrages the Democrats, because all of the names coming out are Democrats. Why? Because Jeffrey Epstein was a whale. He was a Democrat mega donor who had all of them under his control. But not just them. He had bankers, CEOs, sports team owners. This thing is dark. And some of the things in this video I'm going to show you will back up and support what was the QAnon conspiracy of just a year ago and years before that. So I'm not going to waste any time, but I want to start off with this first clip where President Trump was at the podium in the White House press room taking questions from the press himself, something that Biden could never do.
Right,
But
Biden
check
couldn't
this
do none
out,
of this.
because this is
That's
a
what I
great
voted
lead-off.
for.
Then right after this,
We
we'll
voted
see
for
what Putin had to say. But check this clip out.
At the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of files and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? If I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there.
So you heard her ask, hey, listen, people saying that you are here to save the world from this cabal. Now, it's funny that she asked that question, because I want you to listen to Dick Durbin, the senator from Illinois, as he's going to reference the whole QAnon thing like it's a joke, and then watch what I follow it up with. But check this clip out.
Are you familiar with something called the QAnon conspiracy?
I've heard of it, but I do not know what it is, but I've heard of it many times, Senator.
So let me tell you what I've learned about it. Its core belief is that a cabal of satanic stick clusters are embedded within our government and are conspiring against President-elect Trump.
Amazing.
They asked Mr. Patel about it, and he said, quote,
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
that the movement says, end of quote. Does that sound like a good preparation to run the FBI?
Senator, I don't know anything about. I had heard of QAnon, but I've never heard that definition attached to it at all. You're going to have to ask Mr. Patel about those statements.
We will. So I would say this unequivocal support of Mr. Patel should at least have some motivation.
So Jesus' name was mentioned? That's a good one.
So now, as you heard what Dick Durbin said. Hey, this is QAnon conspiracy and yada yada. And Cass Patel said that he agrees with some of it. Now, Pam Bondy said, hey, I'm not too familiar with that. But Dick Durbin, allegedly, he should be familiar with it. It's some of his Senate buddies and Congressional House members. Not to mention the donors that have contributed to many, many Democrat campaigns. Now, listen to what Vladimir Putin has to say about this quote unquote fake cabal, as the Democrats love to put it. Check this out.
Столетиями набивать брюхо человеческой плотью, а карманы деньгами. Но они должны понять, что бал вампиров заканчивается.
So, I'm gonna let it play again.
Столетиями набивать брюхо человеческой плотью, а карманы деньгами. Но они должны понять, что бал вампиров заканчивается.
Kind of makes you wonder, huh? Trump being one of the most hated men by them. And then you also got Putin, who is one of the most hated men.
Hey, local, relax. Yeah, fuck Russia, but just listen to what he was saying. You gonna unsubscribe? I get it.
And
not a problem.
Documentation allegedly
Let's watch the
on
video.
Hillary Clinton that she's a psychopath. She's on medications because she has rage fits and outbursts. She can't control her emotions. And you saw him talk about vampires and what they were eating. So they were stuffing their pockets with money and filling their bellies with.
It's all good, bro. It's all
the
good.
unattractive kind for you and I.
Not a problem.
Dick Durbin acting like he's crazy. Now, we're going to get off into something else here, just to kind of back up. Now, I'm going to read this real fast. And this is all tying into Pam Bondy's testimony, because it explains why the Democrats are going so crazy. And they're trying to flip this thing. They're doing what they always do. If they call you a racist, because they're racist. If they calling you a bigot, because they're bigots. If they're calling you a fascist, it's because they're forcing people to stick jabs in their arm or lose their job. Everything they accuse someone else of, it is what they're doing. It is called preaching.
I appreciate you guys subscribing. If you unsubscribe, I understand. Not a problem. If my channel not for you, I get it. If it is, stick with me and let's grow together. I'm not here to convince you anything. I'm just sharing information. I like Trump. I like his policies. When Trump leaves, I'm going to still vote Republican. I was a Democrat, not no more. Conservative. American. Let's continue.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read,
now, if you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I'll never ask you for a cash out, a super chat, or a donation, because you hitting that like button, help getting this video out, spreading the message against these demon rats.
Right, demon rats. Now, one time I asked you guys for super chat or anything, y'all see it up there. If you do, don't, it's not a problem. I'm just sharing information with you guys.
Helps a great deal. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, already subscribe. And once you do, Patriots, make sure that you hit the notification bell and you select all. That way you get notified each and every time I upload a new video.
when certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind.
Now, this says Epstein's bank account tied to the name of Bale or Ball tells you everything you need to know. I can't believe people are actually posting about Bale now. You also recognize Bale in the famous clothing brand Balenciaga. In one of their ads specifically, added another A, paying homage to the Canaanite god, Baal. Jeffrey Epstein had an odd connection to one of his bank accounts using the name Baal. And Moloch are ancient Canaanite deities often portrayed in biblical texts as rivals to the Israelite god, associated with fertility, storm, and specifically in Moloch's case, child Macronice, but Sacra, and you finish it. Matter of fact, let me just lift this pick up and show you. So this here is Epstein's bank account, and as you can see, what he names his bank account is Baal. I give you permission to unalive him. He is apparently with blank. He lied to you and he lied to me. So this group of alleged satanic cabal Kabbalists that support and worship Moloch, it sounds insane. It sounds deranged. But this is why they are going to the extreme, because they only wanted Trump outed. They didn't expect all of this other stuff to come out. Now, they're not on defense. They're on the offense. And they're spinning this thing and they're pitching it towards the DOJ. Doesn't care about victims. And they're trying to protect Trump. One thing you're going to notice they never do is bring up one Democrat name. Now, this man's name is Ian Carroll. And if you're not familiar with Ian Carroll, you should be, because he does excellent deep dive work. So much so that he's been banned on the platforms prior to Elon Musk taking over X, but they wanted him silenced. Now, on this clip, he's with Roseanne Barr. Listen to what Roseanne says. And again, this is all leading into the Bondy testimony. But listen to Roseanne.
When you look at Jeffrey Epstein in Israel, like that, like he's
subscribe.
Clearly was a worker of Satan. And he's not working on behalf of Jews.
He has a Jewish name, but he's a Satanist.
Exactly.
Please, can we just say that?
Yep.
Because I'm so sick of it. I am so sick
We're
of
in
it.
agreement.
He never kept Shabbat, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that these people in all the religions,
Thank you, Millie. Thank you, Millie.
Evil, they are serving evil.
They're Satanists.
Right? Yep.
So this is real. And for years, y'all, I'm not sure, you wouldn't know this, but for years I've known Hollywood, certain politicians, even back in the day with the documentary Boys Town, where it talks about
Thank you.
representative
Thank you.
that was young people back and forth for powerful politicians. And that was made like in the 90s. And so this thing goes real deep. And you find out that Epstein is the nucleus. He is at the center of so much of the turmoil and the evil going on. Now, by no stretch does that mean that you take him out and it ends. Quite the opposite. There's somebody else ready to step in and take his place, just like he stepped in and took somebody else's place. Now, one thing I will say is that here in America, on the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available, because this year, Medicare plans are expected.
Attorney General Bondy, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information? So
the Democrats went insane, said, "Oh, release the files, release everything, release the files." And they gave them like 30 days to go through millions of pages of files. And it was done by Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna. So they had 30 days to go through millions of pages, redact out any victims' names, redact out anybody's name that might have been in it but wasn't tied to anything nefarious. And then now they have the audacity to come back and demand she apologize for doing what the Democrats were demanding. This is the exact reason why you can never, ever, ever, ever do business on good faith with these people, ever. You can never bend the knee. You can never apologize, because the moment you do, they recognize that weakness and they just dig it in harder and they dig it in harder. Unlike most people where if you apologize, they say, you know what, I accept that, and I apologize for my part. Not Democrat, which is why I don't want you to think whether it be Trump or anybody else that refuses to apologize is doing so out of arrogance or ego. They know that these people are insane, and they are literally Satanists directed by demons. It seems like, in my opinion, all of this is in my opinion, directed by demons, because only a demon will support taking the life of unborn children. Only a demon will believe in having transgender men in dresses in front of kindergarten little boys and transgender blue-haired women in front of little girls. Only a demon would think it's cool for men to go in little girls' bathrooms. Only a demon will believe in disrupting the country, destroying its values, and showing its allegiance to foreign enemies invading the land. All demonic. But yet you'll hear some of us say, well, I'm a Christian. You have no allegiance to anything of the Most High God. That's what Democrats do. And I'm so tired of it. But check out Thomas Massey.
I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact. A list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, right? The title of this one is Child Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, we don't redact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your your deputy attorney general said, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a
Can I
co-conspirator.
finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr.
this
Chairman.
isn't how this works.
Can I have my time?
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady can give her answer.
Now, I want to point something out to you. You may or may not have noticed this, but this is not a mistake when you see Thomas Massey throwing this sign up. Do you think it's a mistake that Thomas Massey is throwing up devil horns right now? I know you might say, Brian, don't be one of those conspiracy theorists. I'm not. Thomas Massey works directly with the Democrats. That is what he is doing right now. That is him. This is not how many times do you make a mistake and make this hand gesture? You don't. The celebrities do it, showing their allegiance. This is a way that you communicate. It's called hidden in plain sight. I just wanted to point that out. That is not a mistake.
In 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr.
this
Chairman.
isn't how this works.
Can I have my time?
So when he went to yelling, reclaiming my time, he intentionally threw his fingers up and even was putting his thumb on top of it. That is not a mistake. Look again.
Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr.
this
Chairman.
isn't how this works.
Can I have my time?
Mr.
Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from.
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman,
Because
may
I
I
have
give my
another
answer
question.
on that?
Here's
It's a political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to the next question.
My time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of over 4,700, and we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to. You're a failed politician. He needs to know things matter.
Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
Listen to Jamie Raskin as he jumps in, opening up his
Right,
mouth
look at him.
because he's upset that Pam Bondy decided to stand up for herself. Forget that crap. But trust me, when you watch these people again, how often do you make a mistake and throw up what many people think is the rock on symbol? It is not, y'all. They have programmed society to utilize certain symbolisms that they know what it means. They know what it gives power to. And the average person says, well, that's not what I mean by it. That's not what I mean by it. It doesn't matter what you mean.
Right.
They know what it's intended for and what they use it for. These folks are evil. These Democrats support this bull crap. Now, in this next one, I want you to check out Jamie Raskin, or should I say Larry Nadler, as he tries to act like he really gives a dang about what's going on with victims, and he doesn't.
Thank you,
But check
guys.
this
Thank
stuff
you.
out what Pam Bondy gets in his case.
Of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No, you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
the time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
my time.
I think it's very interesting.
You can
When
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they indicted,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they indicted him
Mr.
twice.
Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and
And
stop
he
the clock and
indicted.
restore his
Oh,
time.
okay, here we go with these theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, your witness
question
gets
was-
you may not like the answer, but she gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming-
So he asked a
my
4-minute question.
Restore 45
and
seconds,
I
Mr.
am
Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
No, I did tell you because I saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Amazing.
Get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now.
She called Jamie Raskin's loudmouth self a washed-up lawyer, not even a lawyer. Now, Jerry Nadler wants to act like, and I apologize, I called him Ralph Nadler. I think his name is Jerry Nadler. He wants to act like, oh, he's so concerned about the victims and he wants to know who got prosecuted. Check this out. And act like, oh, you know, Trump falling asleep. His 25th Amendment invoking. What about this clown? What about this clown? Now,
Tied, boss. Tied.
I wanted to show this last clip of Pam Bondy and Representative Scanlon. And again, Pam is going to represent and shut it down. Now, let me be fully transparent. There is one thing that Pam Bondy did during this hearing I didn't like. They were asking her questions, and for whatever reason, she deflected to talking about how successful the Dow is and how well the economy and things are going, how we should be talking about that. And I agree with her. We should be talking about more accomplishments. This is extremely important, though, to a lot of people, and rightfully so. So her deflection of it, she shouldn't have done that because they're going to clip that part up and put it out there. But listen to her shut down Scanlon. Check this out.
I agree.
Okay.
She should have did better.
We do understand that your current position is that you have a secret list of people or groups that you are accusing of domestic terrorism, but you won't share it with Congress. And I remind you that when the U.S. government designates an entity as a foreign terrorist organization, it must report that to Congress and to the entity.
You know what I find so funny? These Democrats are always talking about what you're supposed to do this to Congress and you're supposed to go through Congress. We've tried that for the last 30 or 40 years. It got us $37 trillion in debt. It got the largest unbalance of the haves and the have-nots in American history. It got people doing all types of criminal acts around the country. It's got defund the police going on. It's got record-breaking inflation. So these folks in Congress, to me, appear to be useless. And I'm talking about on both sides of the aisle. Both sides. You got your rhinos, and you got your demon rats. And they in cahoots. We need America First, MAGA-style Republicans. I'm sick of these weak-hearted. It's like the SAVE Act. Right now, they could go nuclear and get it done, protect America, but they're trying to hold decorum. And
subscribe. Good morning.
Regain power. They know
Let's
the
grow
Democrats are
together.
going to nuke the filibuster and drive this country straight to hell. And it seems like some of these rhinos may have already sold their soul and be right on the train with them, happily burning in gasoline drawn.
Michael, good morning.
Because the government can make a mistake and the entity has the opportunity to contest it. So your position seems to be that if you falsely designate an American or an American organization as a terrorist group, there's nothing they can do about it. I think we get it. You don't want to answer the question.
No, you don't get anything regarding public safety.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Thank you for the insult. Okay, well then.
She said, you don't get anything, but says thank you for the insult. Y'all listen, I know it may seem like hocus pocus, talking about these people being Satan worshiping people who do all types of weird rituals. This is real. I don't care if it's the Grammys, the Oscars. These folks utilize symbolism. It is real. And if I had the time to take you through all the different symbolisms and what to look for, you would be astounded. Some of you may already be aware. And if you are, put it in the comments, please. Show people that this isn't a joke. This isn't a scam. This isn't a game. When we say this is good versus evil, that is real. This is bigger than Republican and Democrat. That's why every Christian that's a Democrat shouldn't even be a question on what side they're on.
Period.
They're lost in the sauce of this Democrat propaganda with the help of the lamestream media. But I wanted to bring you this to show you Pam Bondy held her own against the demon rats and pushed it back in their face, as she should have. And we're going to look for more to come. As they continue to try to highlight Trump while ignoring Obama in it, Clinton in it, Gates, Stacey Plaskett, who was using fake names, who was the congressional member from the Virgin Islands. And this thing goes on and on and on. But now, since they couldn't smear Trump in the files, they're going to smear Trump's DOJ and smear Trump's name and how the files were released when they're the ones they're forced to release this fast. And now, because there's a few mistakes in 3 million pages, they want to do what Democrats do and emotionally charge up people to make bad decisions against their own better interests. But we're not going to let that happen. So I wanted to bring you this, and I appreciate you. If you stayed and you watched it up to this point, I want to thank you sincerely.
Don't worry, I got you, bro.
right, Patriots, we have it. We have the information, the smoking gun, so to speak. We have what we have been waiting for to fully validate what you've known, what I've known, and what the mainstream media and the demon rats have tried to hide. We have actual proof, documentation of President Trump, what he really did, documented by sheriffs in the Epstein case. And I'm going to go over that with you. But not only that, you're also going to see and hear the mainstream media have to publicly go out, which they had to do yesterday, to all of their millions of viewers and give President Trump his flowers on what he really did, not what the Democrats.
Thank you. Let's grow together.
You're also going to hear
subscribe, and stay with me.
Who was an
Let's grow
actual
together.
survivor. She was one of the young people, one of the children who was passed around by the elite. She is
Good
one
morning,
of the
Matt.
young people, the children who survived, who hid out and lived long enough to now tell the tales and spill the beans. And guess what? She has been dropping names for over a year. And wait till you hear what President Trump says about her.
Thank you,
Her
Miller.
name is
Appreciate
Allie
that.
Carter.
Miller 7588. Thank you so much. His name is Deontay. Thank you.
Forgive me for being off those 3 days celebrating
Blessings.
my
Thank you.
birthday, 7th birthday. His name is Grayson. We celebrated in Legoland over the weekend. I'm back, and as you can see, I haven't shaved up yet, but I promise you, I'll be cleaned up, ready to go tomorrow. But we're gonna start off with this article a little bit, and then I'm gonna roll into the real juicy stuff. So stick with me because this one is that revelation. And
Right, I do videos as well.
in the comments section and in the description.
I do videos and shorts.
And the next time
Hope you guys like it. I do videos and shorts as well.
with that, you don't even have to say anything. Just send them that or just post that and they will shut the F up. Promise you. So Trump bashed Epstein, the Palm Beach police, during first investigation called Maxwell evil, the record shows. President Donald Trump, in a call 2 decades ago to a Florida police chief, bashed his former friend Jeffrey Epstein and called Epstein's procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell, evil. The now retired cop recounted to FBI agents in 2019, according to a document released by the Department of Justice.
Thank you.
Trump called the then Palm Beach police chief, Michael Ryder, to tell him, thank goodness you are stopping Epstein. Everyone has known he's been doing this, Ryder told the FBI in October 2019, according to FBI document known as 302. So just to give you insight on what we're going into, we're going to touch on that doc that's been released that has the Democrats panicking. And now, what are they going to try to get people riled up on? They've got people that you and I know, family members, friends that we know that are good people, but have been turned Trump deranged because of the lies of the Democrats. People who had an issue with Trump, but Trump was proving them wrong. He was fighting illegal aliens. The economy's doing good. Gas is going down. So then they start fanning the flame of this Epstein crap, knowing that Trump had nothing to do with it. And you remember hearing the Democrats say, Republicans are blocking the Epstein files. Republicans are blocking the Epstein files. No. Republicans blocked the Democrats getting the Epstein files because you know what they wanted to do? In a Democrat wet dream, they wanted to just go in and pluck out Trump's name and only talk about Trump's involvement with Epstein. And yes, the Republicans blocked that at every turn because they said, no, we're not going to do that. If you want to go in there and get anything, you're going to let it all out on everybody. They didn't want to do that. Then they started acting like they did because what the Democrats thought, I believe somewhere in their deranged mind, because you know to them, reality means nothing. It means nothing. So I think even though that Biden didn't put it out, Obama didn't push the button for anybody to expose Trump, because you and I both know if there was a there, it would run on international television 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know it, and I know it. But yet that didn't happen. When you got Merrick Garland over the FBI who hated Trump, over the DOJ who hated Trump. You got Christopher Wray, who was the director of the FBI, who see.
Right, y'all arrested the man, shot at the man twice, and he still won. And y'all figured that now he's the president, all this throughout the Epstein file. The man ran twice. You could have put the files out many a times y'all wanted to. Like he's saying, stop being selective. See the truth.
Seemed like he was a pretty good moderate guy until Biden came in and we seen that he was left wing also. But nobody put it out. Nobody had anything. Then Trump gets in office and all of a sudden, Epstein. And the worst thing that they expected to happen, happened. Their Hollywood friends, their billionaire friends, who they say they hate so much. In the files, it seems like Democrats only like to hang out with billionaires. But that's who they're going to take to the bank, right? Bold-faced lie. They're not going to create legislation to take out their donors and their sugar daddies and sugar mamas. They're not going to do that. It's all a lie to get the people at the bottom to give them the okay to pass laws they think was going to attack the rich, but will be flipped on people
Right.
the middle class and the lower class, just like
Thank you.
Chicago.
Thank you.
The 9% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, we're going to tax the rich, tax the billionaires. You know what he did? He put that out, didn't work. Then immediately, when he realized that wasn't going to work because the billionaires and the businesses started fleeing Chicago like the plague came, guess what happened?
He's
in
not
three
lying.
of the poorest neighborhoods in Chicago, 3 of them, their property taxes were doubled overnight. No new home renovations. The property values from the previous year were just
Thank you.
automatically increased, even though the home is exactly the same. So now you've got increased value of properties that aren't worth that.
Amen.
Just
Amen.
so
Thank
the
you,
county
Michael.
can justify taxing these people for the city of Chicago because of their failed policies and them pandering to illegal immigrants. But I apologize. Let's check out this ABC report where they're forced to give it up for our president. Check this out.
This morning, a new document coming to light claims in the mid-2000s, President Trump called police about Jeffrey Epstein. Among the 3 million Epstein files released by the Department of Justice last month is a 4-page FBI report on an interview the Bureau conducted in 2019 with the man believed to be former Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Ryder. Ryder and his detectives began investigating Epstein for human trafficking in 2004. According to the document, Trump called Ryder around that time and said, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." Ryder also says Trump said he threw Epstein out of his club, and he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. The former police chief says Trump told him to focus on Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, saying she is evil.
Did you have any suspicions that he was molesting young women,
No, I had
underage
no
women?
idea. I had no idea.
Trump has long denied having any knowledge of Epstein's crimes, but Ryder says Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out that they were investigating Epstein.
Now, if you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation. But you hitting that like button, it really does help get the video out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, whether you're subscribed already or subscribing now, please make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. That way, YouTube
Brad Simpson, you always tell the truth?
will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos. Now, this is Allie Carter. She is a survivor. She is one of the children who was what they call party favors. And if you don't know about Allie Carter, research her on YouTube. Listen to her story. People came out and was trying to discredit her because she was naming names, dates. Some people have even tracked her back to a Jay-Z video, Run This Town, as the young girl that's sitting there with like a mask on where you can only see her eyes. But she said they had her so doped up that she couldn't even remember if she was in the video or not, because that's what they would do. Get them drunk, get them all high on all types of stuff, and they literally were called party favors. So research her, but check out this video here and what she says about our president.
Steve.
Because no one knows why they hate Trump. No one. Everybody just knows that everybody else does. It's a trend. Does anybody know that he's the only man doing something about human trafficking survivors? No president has ever touched it before. Does anybody know that he's provided more jobs for the Black community than any president in history? Does anybody know that I don't give a shit, and it doesn't matter about anybody's tax-paying money, but do you know that he's actually brought up bodies, children that have been rescued? I've been posting in my story every day. Do you think that I would have posted something if I didn't know what I was talking about?
Trump is the only president, and I don't know how far we go back, maybe ever, to ever publicly address PDF files and to actually attack it. What they don't talk about is in his first term. Do you know in his first term, he went after saving children and stopping things? Why? Because Trump knew about these elites and those sicknesses. I believe every wealthy person knows, because they try to recruit everybody, especially people of power and influence. Understand, that's what these people want. Folks who have influence. They want folks who have influence more than they want people with money. But if you have money and influence, you're that much more recruited. And when I say influence, yeah, we know money can do things, but that type of influential person that can say things and people do it, that people gravitate to. That's why you're celebrities, that they call your superstars. These folks are people that other folks seem to worship. So they snatch them up, they buy their soul, and next thing you know, you see this person who was wholesome and hearty one year, the next year they throwing up devil horns, singing all types of ridiculous music, and it's men dressing like women, and women thinking that they men. That is
This will be the last video for the day. I'll be back Saturday evening after 6 p.m. I'll be back. Other than that, let's continue.
Hill sign. As a matter of fact, wait till you see the video I do on Bad Bunny. That one is going to raise some eyebrows. So here we go. This here is the documents. Okay? This is the documents as far as on what we got. And I'm going to make this so where you can see it as best as possible. I'll enlarge it. And that way you can go through it with me. Okay, here we go. We're here at it now. Okay, so Palm Beach Country Club is a Jewish country club. A lot of wealthy people are there, and they flock together. Mar-a-Lago is a mixture of everyone. Donald Trump told Blank that he threw Epstein out of his club. Trump called the Palm Beach Police Department to tell him, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this. Trump told him people in New York, Trump told him people in New York knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil and to focus on her. Trump told Blank that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out that they were investigating Epstein. No one could explain how Epstein made his money. They knew he worked for Bear Stearns. Blank was told that Epstein was kind of a technical guy that would make it happen, but you didn't want to know how. None of the victims that the Palm Beach Police Department spoke with said they had sexual contact with men other than Epstein while in Epstein's orbit. Blank, redacted, had one time went out screaming. On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available because this year to defend Palm Beach Police Department. An interior designer told the Palm Beach Police Department that rooms in the Virginia and the Virgin Islands had been decorated for teenage girls. Blank contacted the Virgin Island Police Department, but they were not helpful. In the end, when Epstein had turned himself in to plead to the misdemeanor, Blank was not notified and found out from the newspaper. So, as you see, there's a lot more in it, but I'll put the link in the description and in the comments for you to check it out. But the most important part that I wanted to go over was the fact of Donald Trump told Blank he threw Epstein out of his club. Then Trump called the Palm Beach Police Department. And this is from a former sheriff Reeders, from the Palm Beach Police Department. And it's a Blank, date of birth was interviewed at Blank. Present for this interview was Detective Blank, and Special Agent Blank. Prior to beginning this interview, Blank was served with a subpoena requesting his participation in this interview and that he turn over materials in his possession pertaining to this investigation. So the bottom line, I just wanted to see if there was anything else in it, but our president was innocent. We knew that. We knew that factually. But the fact of the matter is now, what are these libtards going to try to use now? And understand why they're doing this. This is nothing more than to dominate the news cycles. That's it. Trump is kicking butt on the economy. He's kicking butt on the border. He's kicking butt everywhere. But they keep the news cycles busy with this and that missing Guthrie, that ABC or NBC host, her mother being missing. And let me tell you about that. Some FBI agents have come out and said they don't believe that this is real. Meaning they believe it's some type of hoax. Is it? Yeah, are they doing this? Is she playing her part to help dominate the news cycles? Because it's funny. After all of these people came out saying they think it's a hoax, all of a sudden, there's a picture on the Ring camera that shows somebody. Even though for the last 10 days, we were told nothing there. There was no, the cameras was disabled, pacemaker was disabled from the app, from her phone, all of that. But now all of a sudden, when the FBI agents are coming out and saying, hey, this don't look right. They said that less than 0.5% of people kidnapped are in their 80s. They left the medicine because they're frail. She's sickly. It seems like more of a headache than a help. But is that really what's going on, or is it to help dominate the news cycles? And I know you might say, Brian, who would do that with their mother publicly? She's a part of the Hollywood machine. Every one of these left-wing radicalized demon rat anchors literally is in cahoots with Hollywood and their producers. And yes, look at what they did with Russia. They knew. They're journalists. They be knowing. But they do opinionated journalism to kind of circumvent factual-based journalism. I don't even know when opinion-based journalism was created, but that's all MSBS now, MSDNC is. Same thing with the Communist News Network and CNN. So don't get caught up in the hype. Know what they're doing. They're just trying to dominate news cycles so the American people don't get a chance to keep hearing. While this crap is going on, President Trump keeps working and keeps dominating and keeps working. Now we got the SAVE Act voter ID, and they're trying to push this Jim Crow 2.0 crap. And again, don't get caught up in it. As a Black American, Black MAGA, Man, black people been voting just fine in the South. I've been living in the South for the last 25 years. In Florida, they say it's so racist. I love it, and I wouldn't want to live anyplace else if that tells you anything. But I'll digress. I just wanted to bring you this, and I know it's not our typical video type of podcast where I got all these video clips. It's not about that this time. We have real documentation. So the fact of the matter is, you knew it, I knew it, but now these demon-rat liptards need to get off of it, saying, oh, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein. Everything that involves Trump and Epstein shows us two things. One, Trump told on him, and two, Epstein was pissed about it. Epstein loved Democrats. He's a Democrat whale. He was a Democrat mega donor. He didn't hang with Republicans. He didn't even donate to Republicans. And now, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Obama, start digging into stuff like the jerky. Start seeing what that jerky means in the Epstein emails. It will blow your mind. The only reason I won't say what it is because that's the type of thing that can get you on YouTube.
Thanks for the gift.
So
Thank you, Steve. Happy poop. Thank you.
Leave a comment. What do you think about us now having actual documentation from the Department of Justice about from a 2019 interview they did with the sheriff, the retired sheriff of Palm Beach County, about the conversation he had with Trump in 2006. So you know Representative Garcia, who's one of the Democrats on that oversight committee, and Ro Khanna, and even Thomas Massey with his rhino self, they've got to be pissed off because you know they combing through looking for something on Trump. Keep looking, clowns. You won't find it. But if you've hung out with me up to this point and you stayed and you watched this video, I want to thank you, a special thank you, because it's been a few days. This one didn't have it.
Yep. Let's see how many people in the chat. Let's see. Should I do another one?
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who's not exactly a slouch, and he's totally on to y'all. He just came out last week and announced what Treasury was doing because, Treasury's going to get to the bottom of this too. They're coming at you from every angle, Ilhan.
As civil enforcement is auditing financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds, in addition to helping support criminal and civil enforcement efforts. The IRS will also soon announce the formation of a task force.
Okay, so the IRS is going in, and they're going to get bank records, and they're going to get texts. I don't think, was she saying, Timmy, what do you want for dinner tonight, hun? No. I think there may be some other texts in there. They're going to get emails. They're going to get wire transfers. They're going to get nonprofit filings. They're going to get vendor invoices. They're even going to go and check out all those Hawala networks. And wasn't it Scott Bessent who so eloquently said, we're putting in a system so that they can rat out each other. And I have a feeling the rats will turn on each other because the scorpion always shows its sides. Woo, okay. So you guys are in trouble. As you should be. Absolutely as you should be. On top of which, you couple that together with the deportation legislation that was introduced last week in both the Senate and in the House. And I think we're looking at a big old problem for Ilhan Omar and a few others there in Minneapolis. I did mention 76 Research, didn't I? Because you get the markets doing some pretty good stuff, and the president saying he thinks it's going to 100,000 on the Dow. Anyway, if you haven't, go check out my company, 76research.com. Use code word dollar, DOLLAR, to get the 76 report. Do look at those model portfolios. We got 3 of them, and they've all beaten the S&P.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you guys for your likes. I'll be back Saturday evening after 6. I got to go to work. Thank you, guys. Blessings. Let's grow together. Subscribe. Let's go together. Let's grow together.